Sorry, lads. Sorry about that. It's just not, for some reason, it's just not signing me in at all. Sweet. Yeah, I've sent him the link, but I've got it on my personal channel. Yeah, I've got it on my personal channel. It just wouldn't log me into yours. I don't know what was going off. Yeah. CG told me to Andy, so I'm telling Andy the numbers, and then it told me to pick a different one. Then Andy gave me a code, G-summit code, and I typed that in, and it just said no. And then it won't let me log back in since. So it's like, right, okay. Well, you get now off for a bit. Anybody see them? Did anyone watch the touring course today? Ah, there was a mistake on telly. It came up saying Jack Goff, 2020 DCC champion. I'm like, I don't think so. Yep. Well, I know Unorthodox has just commented, hasn't he? And Spliffmaster. Smoky Devil. No, he's just commented saying it is Unorthodox touring course tonight, right? G said yeah. Then he said okay, cool. Do you want me to send? You done got to Unorthodox yet? Alright, do you want me to ping Unorthodox an invite for you? Because I've got him obviously for. Team tactics, not allowed in on a Thursday. Best luck, bud. Gary? Fucking Gary. Mazda did that 12-hour event, didn't he, with Keeks? Uh, yeah, Mazda's 24-hour race went really well. Got it well. The race started at 9. Now the race started at 9. They got to 4 in the morning, and his internet disconnected as he just got out the car and put the AI in. Straight up. I couldn't do it because Friday I had a bad day with my back, and then Keegs finished second, but Mazda's internet blipped the minute he put the AI in the car and it disconnected him. Well, they had 7 people turn up for a full grid, and I think 4 of them finished, 2 in LMP1 and 2 in GT4. The rest was AI. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's it. You gotta be on it. You must be gutted out racing from 9 p.m. till 4 in the morning, and you think, "Oh, I'll get my head down for a few hours," and then it disconnects on you. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know who messaged me asking if he was able to do it? And I says, "Mate, it's not nothing I'm running." It was Jamie Brazier messaged me, and I'm like, "Mate, how? No, for the 24-hour event." Yeah, he thought I was running it, and I says, "No, I'm not running it. Someone else is. It's just something Mazda's told me about." And I'm sort of sat there, and I'm like, "How are you going to race in a 24-hour race? You can't do a Wednesday night without disconnecting." Where's the oh dear. You need to set me as race director as well, by the way. Oh, 100%. Yeah, it really is. Have you managed to ping Gary an invite, or do you want me to sort out? Right. Oh, what happened, Jess? Oh, that's what you want. Here he is. You did well Thursday, mate. Race 2. You looked quick. Yeah, I was about to say you looked quick Thursday night, mate. Race 2. You looked really quick. Yep, that is best luck. Well, I'm going to jump in party, so I'll chat to you in a bit. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Motive Racing here for the Touring Car Championship Round 1 of the Season 5, I do believe, here over at the Motive Racing channel here at Donington Park National, probably my favourite circuit. So I do envy these guys who's out there on track, and I wished I could be there with them, but instead I'm here to bring you through a lot of interesting action tonight, and we've got a lot of people on track who could take this one, including this man who's in as a first reserve, Gary 131, the only BMW on the track at the moment. So we'll see what he's capable of. We've got the Spliffmaster in with us as well on the Mercedes. I do believe the only Mercedes on track as well. X-Mark joins us for another season in his blue and yellow Renault Megane. Looked good at times last season. Let's see if he can keep that form going into this one. Avu Alfonso in the Renault Megane. Didn't see him in the touring cars last year, but we are now, so we'll see what he can achieve this time round on Orthodubs. Many seen him in the Clios the other night and yesterday here at Motive Racing, and we'll see what he can do on his first outing in the Renault Megane. Smoky Devil's back with us. I do believe was in the Mercedes last year, running the Megane this year. I could be wrong there, but we'll see how he fares this time out. John Boyce as well with us. He definitely was in the Mercedes last year. He's now in a Megane as well. A lot more Meganes on the grid this year, so we'll see what John Boyce is capable of. Charlie Goff, we saw him towards the back end of last season. He's with us for round 1 tonight, so we'll see if he's got the pace to match the front runners. Fury's with us in his monster livery as always. teaming up with Emo Guy relatively. So watch out for these two guys, quick young lads. Watch out for Fury in the second race. Then DJ Phil, he's such a regular here at Motive Racing. He's so consistent in a regular turn up for the Bucks as well, so keep an eye on DJ Phil. And of course Andy, we know what this man's capable of. What can he do tonight on a 12-car grid full of exciting prospects, and we'll take you through the whole race here tonight live on the channel with me, Matthew Duffin, in the commentary box, as we have got someone else in. We've got Lodder 44 who's just managed to join the session, so a 14-car grid now for this session. Just an extra car on the grid, even better then. So the format of tonight is a sprint race followed by a second qualifying with a feature race. The sprint race is 20 minutes long. The feature race is then at 2.25 times the length of the sprint race, and probably more than likely with a mandatory pit stop as well. So we'll have to see what happens there then. For now though, we have the 20-minute, or 10-minute should I say, qualifying session. There's only 6 minutes left of this session, and Orthodox currently on pole by 0.02 of a second from the Spliff Master at the moment. John Boy currently in third, 7/10 off of the pace, with Avo Alfonso just losing it on the grass, 1.6 off the pace, and Emo Guy's about to cross the line. And does he improve on his time? 3.3 off. Fury's just gone up into P4, so a good time from him. X-Mark currently in 7th place. He's coming down the back straight. He's got Gary 131 just in front of him. We'll stay with X-Mark as he comes up towards the final chicane. Let's see if he can improve any this time around. Currently 5.2 off of the pace, but let's see if his time will be improved here. And it's not, it's still 2.9 off of the pace then, so DJ Phil. Andy's just gone into P6, DJ Phil is running P10. Lodder in another BMW, so 2 BMWs on the grid with Gary, and Charlie Goff as well hasn't done a lap time yet, so we'll keep an eye on them guys. But Unorthodox has extended his lead at the moment to 0.3 of a second then. So good lap time from Unorthodox as he's coming round Coppice now and down the Dunlop Straight. Obviously no Dunlop Bridge anymore, but down the Dunlop Straight into the Fogarty S's then. What can he do this time around? Let's see. Is he going to improve any? Looks rapid at the minute, does Unorthodox. John Boy's gone pole by 0.06 of a second. Can Unorthodox beat that time as he's about to cross the line? Let's see. Yes, he does, and goes even faster, 0.6 quicker than John Boy. So Unorthodox really on it at the moment. John Boy's got a lot to do as he's coming up towards McLean's then, and will look to find 0.6 of a second, although he doesn't seem to be gaining full beans at the moment. Let's keep an eye on him. Spliff Master running in a good third place so far. Only 1 second off the pace as well as he comes through Coppice and down the Dunlop Straight. Can Spliff Master improve on his lap time? Using the exit to Coppice there, beautiful. Now stays to the left hand side, coming into the Dunlop Straight then. Into the Fogarty S's now. Take advantage of them curbs, touch the curb on the outside and then flat out down towards the start line, the start straight of Redgate then. Can't improve on his time this time around. So unfortunate that for Spliff Master. Andy's just gone into P3 then as John Boy has taken the pole. So does Unorthodox have an answer to this one? The only man to not set a lap time yet is Gary 131 up through McLean's. He comes. What can Unorthodox do though? Let's see what he's got, what he's capable of at the minute. Only needs to find just over 2.5 tenths here. What is Unorthodox capable of as he's coming down towards the line? He's got no slipstream at all and doesn't improve this time around. Fury's in the pit lane, Spliff Master in 5th place. Gary though in towards the Fogarty S's, so let's see what Gary can do here. Is he going to be able to put a lap time on the board? Only one of 2 BMWs, him and Lodder, so we'll see what the BMWs can do tonight. The only Mercedes is Spliff Master, and Gary gets a lap time on the board. 0.7 off the pole man, but nonetheless Gary will be over the moon with that one then. That was X-Mark crossing the line, stays in P7. For Avu, Smoky Devil into P9. Avo Alfonso's down to 10th. He's in the pits as well. 2.5 minutes just remain, or just over 2.5 minutes remain here. So still time for 1, 2 to push 3 laps to get in. DJ Phil is in the pit lane. Where's Emo Guy? Currently last on track at the moment. Unorthodox has just got a lap time invalidated for track minutes, so he's not going to improve, as the pole man is currently Andy, sits in the pits, but he's 2.5 tenths on the pole position at the moment. Has Spliff Master all in front of him, giving him a lovely tow down the straight, but at this part here into the old hairpin will not be the beneficial for either of these guys. Spliff Master just taking a bit too much line there as Emo Guy comes into Redgate corner now. Up into P7 is Emo Guy, so he's managed to get off the back row of the grid, currently running in P7, so let's see what Emo Guy can do then. Gotta try and put together a decent lap. Couple of tenths will move him up a few more places. Gary 131 has just crossed the line and goes at 14 thousandths quicker, but it's not enough to move him from P4. He's a second off of Andy's pace, as that is DJ Phil keeping out of the way. Bit loose on the rear there for Gary. Unorthodox coming up towards McLean's and flat out all the way through here. Break into McLean's, clip the corner, the apex of the corner, run it out to the left just over the curb, nice and easy, good job that from Unorthodox there then. Brake hard in towards Copies, down one gear here there, over the apex and round we go. Keep it flat now to the left hand side. And we're flat to the Fogarty S's, although Unorthodox here looks like he's trying to get some heat into them tyres. So maybe not going to be the best up from Unorthodox. He's hard on the brakes into the Fogarty S's. Use all the curb you can. Does it brilliantly there. Great run through the corner there. It's an absolutely fantastic run. And let's see what Unorthodox can do here. 2.2 down, so no improvement this time around for John Boy. He's just coming up towards McLean's now. Short run between McLean's and Copies. Like I say, my all-time favourite track, Donington Park. Absolutely love it. John Boy's 2 tenths up here. This time at the minute will be good enough for pole position. Yeah, my all-time favourite track. I absolutely love this circuit. And I don't know, we'd have started here. Well, I'd have probably loved to have raced this, to be fair, but it's not to be the case. He gets the Fogarty S's a bit wrong there, does John Boy, and he's going to have to make up for that on his run down to line. How much did that cost him in the end? And it cost him big, as he ended up with a lap time invalid, so not enough to improve. Spliff Master, who's just crossed the line, excuse me, has dropped down into P7. It's not the best of time there from Spliff Master. He was third at one stage. He's now slowly dropped down the order as Fury has just gone into P5. I think Fury will get one more run in. Not quite sure who that's with. There's Lauder. It's with Avu Alfonso. So let's take a look at the other BMW then. One currently P4, one down in P10. What can Lauder do here? Is there to be any improvement? Where's the other one? Gary just coming through the Fogarty S's, gets it all wrong and horribly wrong there. Lauder has a lap time invalid, so let's see, can Gary improve? Needs a lot of time to make up. He does improve, but it's only 0.6 of a second off the leader, as John Boy currently flying. Unorthodox is only just short of 2 tenths behind Andy. Andy on provisional pole at the minute. Can John Boy get that 2.5 tenths he needs to take pole position? Into the Fogarty S's now, and let's see what he's going to do here. He's going to come across the line. Surely this is going to be good enough. No, he's gone off. Not sure what all that's about. But off he goes there. Fury then. Can he improve on P5? Needs a good half a second to catch Gary. Let's see if there is any improvement then as he comes down towards the line. That's Alfonso behind. And Fury does improve into P4, so a good lap there from Fury. So it's Andy then who takes the first pole position of the season, followed by Unorthodox. John Boy in third with Fury P4. Gary 5th place at the end as Fury just pips him to that. Smoky Devil runs 6th. Good qualifying for him. Spliff Master down in 7th then, with X-Mart 8th. Emo Guy in 9th. Lauder 10th. Avu Alfonso in P11. Charlie Goff and DJ Phil. But you see the darkness descends on us here at Donington Park in the autumn time, here just next to the East Midlands Airport, just over the back towards McLean's. You'll see the planes take off there. Beautiful sight to see the planes take off just at McLean's, or coming to land. Can't remember which way around it is. Actually not been this year, obviously due to the COVID restrictions. But yeah, the lovely sight of the planes coming in or taking off. Either way, it's still a beautiful sight to see right over the top of McLean's corner. As the sun has set, Andrew getting ready to go racing. Drivers just making final adjustments then. So let's see what we can do here then. Got Fury's granddad in the chat as always. Go Fury, don't go. And Gary's regular fans with us as well. Bethany Ann Duffin, she's here supporting her man. And as you can see, the two same liveried cars, number 16 and 17. 16 is unorthodox. Andy Carr number 17. John Boy then in P3. With Fury 4th, Gary in P5, Smoky Devil 6th, Spliffmaster 8th, X Martin 9th, X Martin 8th, Emo Guys 9th, Lauder 10th, Avo Alfonso in 11th, Charlie Goff 12th, and DJ Phil in 13th. We don't expect a fantastic race here as we're ready to go in this sprint race. First round of the season at Donington Park National. The lights are out, they're away. I think that's a jump start from John Boy, if I'm going to be honest with you. He moved very early there, and that's unorthodox already round, and there's a car hit him, and has absolutely carnage there. There's an unorthodox span at the start line, and has been absolutely dismantled down the start straight. Good start from Gary from P5 on the grid. He's side by side pretty much with Andy and manages to tuck in now coming down the Craner curves. But John Boy, I think, will have a drive-through penalty. Definitely jumped that start there, did John Boy. Not the start he'd have wanted to his season. You've seen him creep really early. The lights hadn't gone out, but John Boy still went. Gary all over the back of him at the moment. But look at Fury and Andy here, side by side, and Fury tries to come across the front of Andy. And on the grass he's got, in fact, sideways at Coppice, McLean's he's gone. And that's caught Andy up, and Andy ends up smacking the front end of Fury there. And they're both off then at Coppice. John Boy with the penalty, you see. He may just have a time penalty after this one, but Gary currently leads as they come down towards the Fogarty-Esses for the first time. John Boy pulling out and having a look, but can't get the move on there. X-Mart now running in P3 after Andy and Fury's incident. Emo Guy, good start for him, up into P4 already, so a fantastic first lap for him. And if we had a spinner, yes, John Boy's got it all out. In fact, no, John Boy has gone in the pits, so he is serving a drive-through penalty then, I do believe. Yeah, drive-through penalty for John Boy then. So X-Mart up into P2, and here he is with Emo Guy all up his rear end, and is smelling the second place here. Charlie Goff from the back row of the grid early on is up into P4, so a great start for Charlie Goff. Managed to make a few places off the start line, and he's running really well in this car at the moment. Fury just a bit far back of these guys. He's on a trying to damn his imitation drive in this first race, should I say, as he's coming up into 5th place then. He's well in front of Avo Alfonso and DJ Phil, who started on the back row as well. He now sits mid-pack in P7, and he's going to have a very annoyed Andy. We're hot on his heels here and wanting to get back up onto that podium where he qualified on pole. Lost the lead through John Boy jumping the start and Gary getting a blinder, but nonetheless Avo Alfonso, John Boy and Spliffmaster, who's down in 9th, all have penalties. The Spliffmaster gaining on Andy here in the slipstream. Really look to make a move at the Fogarty-Esses, is a bit too far back to do so, and no move done there. Unorthodox in the dismantled Renault Megane. It's a good job they don't run me damage on, because that car would be seriously struggling by now. Here's the new 2020 version of the Renault Megane. If you were all wondering what that car was, the 2020 version. Up front though, Gary has a 3-second lead to X-Mart, who has started to pull away from Charlie Goff just slightly, just gap opening up towards a second. Charlie Goff's managed to get past Fury though, so I'm not sure what happened. No, Fury's up into P4. It was Emo Guy who was on the back of X-Mart. Emo Guy's dropped down to 5th place, so not sure what happened to Emo Guy there then. Nevertheless, he's dropped down to P5, and he's trying to follow in the monster livery with Fury, you see there, and he's trying to follow Fury through. In fact, he's going to look like he's going to send a move up the inside of Fury. Fury gives him plenty of room, and Emo Guy thinks better of it this time around, so no can do there for these two. What can they do as they carry on down then? They're Dunlop straight towards the Fogarty-Esses. 4 seconds is the lead to Gary from X-Mart. It's Gary's lead from X-Mart then. Oh, and Fury gets all out of shape coming through the Fogarty-Esses. That's allowed Emo Guy and Avo Alfonso. We're going to have a look up down the Woodcote Straight in towards Redgate they go, and Alfonso has got the move done on Fury, and Andy's now gaining on the back of this little battle. Emo Guy and Avo Alfonso trying to defend them from Fury, who just taps the rear end of Avo Alfonso there and forces Avo wide. He's slowed down enough to keep to let Avo rejoin in front. Nicely done that from Fury. Realised he was at fault there, just tapping the rear end of Alfonso and gave him the place back into the old hairpin we go. Tell you what, these cars look absolutely mega in the night here at Donington Park down the Craner curves. That's a sight to see. That's brilliant. Andy has got past Fury then. You just see there in the background. In fact, Fury's slow. We're not sure what's happened to Emo Guy. Emo Guy must have had an off. He was behind Charlie Goff and now he's down into P7. So cannot keep a consistent race here at the moment. Emo Guy is up and down, back and forth. We're not sure what's happening with him, and that is him having a big slide through the entry to Coppice corner there, and he's managed to hold it together. But Fury and Emo Guy are in his 6th and 7th and side by side at the moment as they head down towards the Fogarty S's. Fury on the outside, Emo Guy on the inside. Will anybody yield? Yep, Fury yields that one, but tries to get him on the exit to the Fogarty S's and can't get it done as he lit up the rears. And look at Spliffmaster really trying to get on the back of these two then, and can sniff an opportunity. Fury goes defensive. Is he trying to defend and help Emo Guy as well? Unsure at the moment, but defends Redgate corner. And can Spliffmaster look for a cutback? Just can't seem to get that Mercedes turned in there. While up front, Alfonso has been overtaken by Andy then as they're coming down the Craner curves. Alfonso has been overtaken by Andy, and that's job done in that battle. Andy back up into P4, and he'll be happy with that one with 14.5 minutes remaining. Unorthodox has passed Spliffmaster, and so a mistake from Spliffmaster, and look at the run Unorthodox had over Emo Guy. Emo Guy must have a slowdown as he's lost 2 more places, so another mistake for Emo Guy here, costing him another place. But Unorthodox all wrong on lap 1 on the start straight, has got it right so far and is flying in these Renault, in his Renault Megane. 1 minute 10 last time out, quicker than anybody on track, so an absolute stellar job from him. Down the start straight he comes. He's going to have to try and gain on the back of Emo Guy. Sorry, I apologise to Emo Guy. It was Fury who was slow earlier, not Emo Guy, so I apologise to him there. Andy though with a time penalty, so is X-Mart and Alvaro Alfonso, Spliffmaster, DJ Phil and John Boy. He's starting to gain on Charlie Goff. In fact, X-Mart has dropped from 3rd, so I'm not sure what's happened to X-Mart then, but X-Mart has dropped from 2nd to 4th, and Alvaro Alfonso all on the back of him. Let's see them down the Craner curves. Is he going to try and look to make a move here? Absolutely on it here down the Craner curves into the old hairpin, and try not to take too much, try not to run too wide. That's where the slowdowns will be. And he gets a bit of a better run compared to X-Mark coming through the outside of the corner, the exit to the corner there. But Unorthodox all over the back of Emo Guy, and look at this, he's going to try out the inside towards McLean's. I think Emo Guy's got the door short. Now he's left it open just slightly, but Unorthodox a bit cautious on that one and not close enough to take any risky manoeuvres there. He's already lost a lot of time so far. Doesn't want to lose any more time in this race. Further back then, DJ Phil is gaining on the back of Fury, but is that through Fury making mistakes or DJ Phil catching? DJ Phil was actually 5 seconds quicker last lap, so a heck of a lap from DJ Phil compared to Fury then. And at the minute, DJ Phil looking cool, calm and collected. Charlie Goff has Andy creeping on the back of him, but X-Mart side by side with Avo Alfonso, and let's see up the inside. Is he going to have a look? No, Emo Guy and Unorthodox are there. All 3 of them run wide, and what an opportunistic move from Unorthodox here. All 3 guys run wide and deep into Redgate, and Unorthodox picks off all 3 of them. Alfonso managed to get past X-Mart, so did Emo Guy, but what a job that was from Unorthodox. Cracking manoeuvre. And a solid start to him after a poor start to his race. A solid recovery drive this is. What an exit from Alfonso that was, but that he may have a slowdown penalty coming his way. In fact, I think he's taking it as Emo Guy was well up the inside. Unorthodox has run a bit wide now, and Alfonso comes back at Emo Guy, and they've touched and spin. Unorthodox is round on the exit to McLean's corner. They tried to go 3 wide with Emo Guy and it did not work. And Unorthodox great work at the beginning of this lap is going to have to be done again here. Emo Guy got away with that one and only dropped down to 7th behind Spliffmaster. But Alfonso there snuck back up the inside after he took his slowdown penalty. And you can't blame him for trying. We've missed Andy getting past Charlie Goff, so Andy now 8.6 off the back of Gary with a time penalty. And I tell you what, this man is running away with this race. One of only two BMWs on the grid, and this man absolutely flying so far. The other one being Lodder, as we can see Lodder struggling at the back of the pack. Damage to his BMW. He's all over the road. Smoky Devil as well with bad damage. That must be from the start of this race. But either way, damage nonetheless. DJ Phil and Unorthodox battling it out with John Boy just in front of these two. And look at DJ Phil coming down the crane of curves. Looks left, looks right. Cannot get the move done, but look at Unorthodox on the brakes. Really closes on the back of John Boy there. And there's nothing John Boy can do. This man is flying here. But every time he seems to make progression up the grid, he just gets knocked back down again. Really had a poor start to this race and was making a great recovery drive. The move he did at turn 1 at Redgate Corner last time around was absolutely fantastic, and he's got past John Boy now and he's up into P9. Is Unorthodox heading towards Fury as Spliff Master has been overtaken by Emo Guy, and Xmart still has these guys on their back. In fact, Avo Alfonso still has them near on his rear end. But let's see what Xmart can do defensively against Emo Guy, who's had an up and down race tonight so far. He's going to pull out here and he's going to look for a send-it manoeuvre into Redgate Corner, and has got the job done. In fact, Xmart a bit heavy on the brakes here. That could allow Spliff Master up through as well, but he's got a good exit and is currently running on the back of Emo Guy. You see in front the Monster Energy livery. Slowly starts to pull away through the crane of curves then, and on the brakes into the old hairpin. Xmart runs deep, and that's Spliffmaster coming up the inside at the crane of curves, and a job done for him. Great manoeuvre then. Andy has dropped back and lost out to Charlie Goff. That gap's 2.1 seconds, so I wonder if Andy has made a mistake. But Charlie Goff from the back row with the grid, don't forget, at the start of this race, is currently running in P2 so far, so a cracking job from him in this one then. This man comes across the line now to start lap 10, 2 tenths quicker than his personal best that time round. So 1 minute 10.4 for him, cracking lap time. And he's now, with 9 minutes on the clock, well out in front, 11.2 seconds out in front. So a cracking job he is doing. Andy slowly dropped back a little bit more. Emo Guy trying to gain on the back of Avo Alfonso, Spliffmaster and Fury now on the back of Xmart. Xmart's obviously got that job back done over Spliffmaster, but look out for this man in the background. He's going to be wanting to get on the back of this battle, as that is Spliffmaster looking up the inside at Redgate but can't get the job done. Xmart has come across and shut the door nicely there then. Watch out for Unorthodox here. He's really going to try and come down and gain on Xmart, Spliffmaster and Fury then, as they are battling it out on track. This is Xmart into the old hairpin now. Fury in the background just having a look on DJ Phillips. Fury having a look on Spliffmaster there. Couldn't get nothing done about that one then. The gap out between Charlie Goff and Gary, so Gary and Charlie Goff is 12.6 seconds. So Gary's really got his head down here and has just cruised away with this one so far. Great race for him. We'll see what he can manage for qualify 2 and race 2 as this battle continues. And Xmart's made a mistake then. Ran wide and Spliffmaster and Fury have got past him, and Fury's going to go up the inside of Spliffmaster into the Foggy Tiesta. So a great move there from Fury. Good little drive that got the drag down the Dunlop straight, and he's got the move done going into the Foggy Tiestas. But Spliffmaster looks left, looks right. He's going to try and come back at him at Redgate Corner. Up front, Emo Guy and Avo Alfonso was battling it out, but Spliffmaster, is he going to try and get the cut back then, keep that car tied to the apex? But here he comes, he is Unorthodox. Let's see the speed down then the crane of curves. Look at him gain on these three then. Look at the difference in speed between Unorthodox and Xmart. Is he going to send one into the old hairpin corner? No, he doesn't, but he's going to try and get the run out of it. Just a bit of a tap on the back of Xmart's car there, as the run was so great from Unorthodox there. Did such a top job, but just couldn't make it stick. Fury, Emo Guy has got past Avo Alfonso, and Fury doing a stellar job in front of this little battle here over Spliffmaster. Spliffmaster pulls out and has a look, and so did Unorthodox, but neither of them could get the move done. Now let's see the tow here on Unorthodox's car. Let's see if he can get a move towards the Foggy Tiestas then. No, he can't. The tow didn't really work from there, but look at the speed through the chicane. Absolutely stellar job. The run he's got is fantastic, and he pulls out now on Xmart, and this will be for P8 on track. You see Avo Alfonso and Emo Guy still batty. You see Spliffmaster and
Fury still battling, and Avo Alfonso has actually re-overtaken Emo Guy. Spliffmaster and Fury side by side, and look at Xmart still defending really well from Unorthodox. Unorthodox putting pressure on, but Spliffmaster and Fury here. Spliffmaster and Fury side by side down the crane of curves, and Spliffmaster gets the job done going into the old hairpin, and Fury's going to try and get the cutback as they go up towards McLean's corner. They're side by side again here, and Fury had a great run through. Unorthodox and John Boy have passed Xmart then, so a good job there, and Spliffmaster's rear end all out of shape coming through McLean's corner, but he's not been able to get the job done. And now he sits with Unorthodox all over the rear end of that car. And this man is really, really pushing here. Wants to gain places. He's got a few cars in front of him that he can gain on as well. Flash of the lights from John Boy there. Spliffmaster now goes defensive against Unorthodox, but it hasn't worked out. That's John Boy who's lost the rear, managed to catch it. And Unorthodox got caught out through the slow speed of Spliffmaster at the Fogarty S's and has to cut the chicane a little bit. He has dropped off the back and has slowed down a little bit here. Then Andy, though, gaining on the back of Charlie Goff. This for P2. I think these are well in front of the others for the podium battle, but this just for P2 on the track then at the minute. Charlie Goff, no penalty. Andy has a time penalty. So Andy really needs to get the job done and pull away. The gap to the lead has come down slightly as well. Gary's had a problem. Is Charlie Goff defending well from Andy so far, and Andy looks like he's got the run, but he's going to have to go the long way around at the moment. And Charlie Goff's come back across the racing line. Is Andy going to send one? No, doesn't think about it there. Avo Alfonso has Emo Guy, Fury, Spliffmaster, Unorthodox and John Boy. A long gaggle of cars here battling it out on track, and Unorthodox looks like he's got the run on Spliffmaster as they come down towards the Fogarty S's. Look at the difference in speed, and they lean on each other and they're off at the Fogarty S's, and somehow Unorthodox has kept that going. He's having to cut the chicane, but he's kept it going. John Boy got all sideways coming through the final corner, and Spliffmaster then down into 10th place. Not sure what happened there, but either way, lost out. Avo Alfonso slow. Xmart's in the pits. I'm not quite sure why. You don't have to pit in this race. Maybe a jump start for Xmart then. But Alfonso has lost out to Fury and Emo Guy, and Andy has got past Charlie Goff, so he's really got to get away now. There's Gary coming through Coppice. It's Lodder, who's about to be lapped by Andy and Charlie Goff. Andy now really has to get away here. He's got to create some sort of a gap to Charlie Goff then, as he needs to for his time penalty that he's got to serve. Unorthodox, probably one of the quickest cars on track today in this one. Really sorted to get his elbows out here and get through the field. Look at the run he's got on Alfonso coming through Coppice corner. He's going to pull out, and they're side by side. Unorthodox will have this done, I reckon, before the Fogarty S's. Maybe under braking. Alfonso can't come across. Unorthodox is there, and he's going to brake now into the corner, and Alfonso tries to squeeze Unorthodox but manages to stay in front. How them two didn't touch each other, I don't know. Great little move there from Alfonso, and Unorthodox still behind him as they head onto their 15th lap of this race. 2.5 minutes remain. Gary 1:31, 11.5 seconds up the road from Andy, is creaming away with it. The field cannot touch him. But the battle for P5 for P6 on track. Avo Alfonso versus Unorthodox, and look at the run that Unorthodox has got here. The two monster energy cars side by side of Emo Guy and Fury up front, but Alfonso has seemingly let Unorthodox through there. Didn't fancy the fight there, and Emo Guy then battling with Fury now. So what can Fury and Emo Guy do? Let's see. Good little battle on track, running the same livery, so are they going to work together this season? Let's wait and see what we've got in store for the season. But Emo Guy and Fury, 4th and 5th on track. Unorthodox closing in on the back of them, only a couple of seconds behind. We've got 1 minute 41 left on the clock. Gary Leach is just coming up towards McLean, so we should get we'll get one more lap in. I don't think we'll get two, but either way, Emo Guy and Fury just within about 3/10 of each other then. Not a big gap at all. Unorthodox starting to pull away from Avu Alfonso, who's got John Boy in P8. X-Mark gaining on the back of Smoky Devil then. X-Mark into the pits he was earlier. John Boy, don't forget, jump start. So we'll have the only G in for the next race. We should have another BMW on track, and so maybe 3 BMWs on the track. That's a battle for P4 now. Emo Guy, Fury and Orthodox. Avo Alfonso and John Boy all gaining on each other. Look to Unorthodox here. Look at the speed he gets through Coppice Corner. Comes down the straight. And here we go. Down towards Fogarty S's then. Unorthodox, he's been up and down the field tonight like a yo-yo. Start line dramas, and look at the run he's got through the Fogarty S's, and he's already pulled to the inside, and Fury can do nothing about this. He's helpless to it, and Unorthodox into P5 as we're on the last lap of the race then. He was helpless, could not defend that move at all there. Absolutely nothing he could have done. Unorthodox there, absolutely great manoeuvre. He's drove brilliantly tonight. A few incidents have cost him a few places. This guy probably could have took the race to Gary at one stage. Don't forget, started on the front row of the grid. He's all over the back of Emo Guy here. Gary coming down the Dunlop straight. He's into the Fogarty S's. And for the first time this season, it's going to be a BMW that takes the win. A flash of the lights from Gary 131, and he's going to cross the line in the sprint race to take a win. Andy looks like he's done enough to gap Charlie Goff. We don't know what his penalty is, don't forget, but Charlie Goff has picked one up himself now. And Andy then, flash the lights from him. He's going to come home in P2. Charlie Goff, what a drive from this man. 12th on the grid and takes a P3, a cracking drive. In fact, takes second, gets Andy on the line with the time penalties. And Unorthodox did get past Emo Guy. Now, has he got the time penalties on his side here? He may lose out to Fury, but he's going to cross the line for a P4. Emo Guy in 5th. Fury will take 4th. Emo Guy 5th, Unorthodox 6th, John Boy 7th, Avo Alfonso drops to 8th, Spliff Master coming through the Fogarty S's now in P9 currently. And he's going to cross the line, P9. DJ Phil will come home in P10 here. Not a scratch on that red Marmo liveried Renault Megane of DJ Phil's. So DJ Phil takes P10, Smoky Devil's going to cross the line to take P11. X-Mart is going to take P12 and Lodder P13 and a lap down. Great start then for Charlie Goff. Gary with the win though, and a 1 minute 10.4, the fastest lap on track. Andy getting on the podium as well, but look at Andy's penalties, 10 seconds is what's cost him the second place here. So a great start to the season, and we'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back then for qualifying 2 of the Touring Car Championship here at Motive Racing for the first round of the night. The feature race tonight here at Donington Park National Circuit, and there's one man who's with us tonight. He's just here. The only G has decided to join us for this feature race, so this should be absolutely fantastic. Then, so a 14 car grid for this feature race. Everybody can qualify who is in the session. So no, not like last time where you had to reverse the top 5 couldn't qualify. Everybody can qualify for this one. So let's see what happens here. Evening, very good evening to Campos Game 1. Hello from Spain, great broadcast. Thanks for the kind words. Andrew Clegg says podium isn't a bad way to start the season. And Jay Palm, hi to everybody. Good luck to all, he says. Also, if you are watching, the 15 guys that are watching, there's only 10 likes on the stream, so let's get the maximum amount of likes we can on this stream. If those who aren't subscribed that are watching, please do subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. If you want to get in touch with Motive Racing, if you're watching and aren't part of the racing already, head over to motiveracing.com to see what you can sign up to in that one, or head over to their Discord server as well. So make sure you check out all channels here at Motive Racing. Race on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night, with all the different variety of cars, from the GT3s to the GTEs, the touring cars to the Clios, and even the LMP2s. They dabble in them as well. So join us all the time for them on Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday here at Motive Racing. Right now we're on board with Charlie Goff, currently coming through the old hairpin corner there. Towards McLean's he goes, and he's on his first time lap. Good second place for Charlie Goff. Didn't have the pace in the first qualifying session, but had the pace in the race to come from the back of the grid to win it, to get P2. Sorry, didn't win it. Gary 131, don't forget, took a fantastic dominant victory in the sprint race, but can he do it in the feature race with, don't forget, a mandatory pit stop? We've seen coming through Coppice here, Charlie Goff. The night falls even more here at Donington Park National. Down the start line now after the Fogarty S's, and puts the first time, well, puts the second time in of a 1:13.0. Unorthodox's time is pretty much an out lap for him. The only G on track with us, you see, in the blue, white and red liveried BMWs. For third BMW on the grid. Lauder coming down towards the Fogarty S's. Lauder's actually changed car from the BMW to the Renault Megane, so I'm not sure what all that's about, but a change of car for Lauder there. Crosses the line, doesn't set a lap time. John Boy has, he's gone provisional pole at the minute. Alfonso then just a 10th behind him. Gary 131 coming down towards the start line. What can he do? Andy's gone into P4. Gary crosses the line now and takes provisional pole by 17 thousandths of a second. Spliffmaster coming down towards the Fogarty S's. X-Mart still in the pits. 11 minutes remain in the session. Here comes Spliffmaster and through the Fogarty S's. Down the start straight we go. Is he going to set here? There's P7 at the moment. Smoky Devil next to cross the line and set a time. Doesn't set a time. Fury doesn't look like he's going to either. The only G's gone into P8. Here comes Fury then. No lap time for Fury or Emo Guy either there, so no lap times so far from them two. Charlie Goff down into a low 113, a 113 dead, in fact, so did improve last time round. It's only good enough for P4 at the moment. Andy on tracks coming down towards the Fogarty S's. So what can we see from Andy here then? Through the Fogarty S's he goes. Oh, loses the rear, and he's just took too much curb and has picked up a lap time invalid for track limits. So did Alfonso. That's Gary just behind Andy then. So what's Gary going to set here? 8/10 off of John Boy. He's not now. He's 5/10 in front of John Boy into the 111 deads. John Boy has work to do in terms of picking up time. He'll not want to jump the start like he did last time around. He'll want to get a good qualifying in and a good start as well. Charlie Goff coming down towards the Fogarty S's, but the only G is just in front of him. So what can G do here? Through the Fogarty S's he comes in the BMW. Gets on the power and down the straight he comes now, and the only G's going to cross the line. Goes 12 seconds quicker, moves within 0.08 of a second behind Gary. Charlie Goff, no improvement from him as he picked up a lap time invalid there then. Emo Guy's done a time and has gone up to P5. What's Fury going to do? Crosses line, goes into 9th place at the moment. Smoky Devil and Exmont still yet to set a time, but here comes Exmont out of Coppice now. That was Gary running wide into the gravel in the background, but here comes Exmont into the Fogarty S's. Needs to get a lap time on the board. DJ Phil has just picked up a lap time invalid. Smoky Devil has one as well. So not the start Smoky Devil would want to. Can't even get a lap time on the board. And here comes Export. And no time still for him. Lodder, good lap from him in the when Gan's gone up into P5 at the moment. Tavo Alfonso is still P4. Where's Andy? He's all the way down in 8th as he's coming into the Fogarty S's now. Has a lap time invalid though. Don't forget. And he's backing off to create a bit of space to the car in front and give himself the time he needs to get a good lap in. Unorthodox, strangely for him, down in P13 and sat in the pit lane at the minute. Here comes Spliff Master though, out the final corner and all over wide onto the grass. Can he get a time? I think Andy's had another lap time invalid here. G has gone now within 38,000ths of a second off the pole time from Gary 131, who's flying at the minute up in towards McLean's corner then, and down now the short straight towards Coppice. We've seen him get this corner wrong last time around. Can he nail it now this time? Yep, gets it bang on across the apex of the corner, runs it out wide. He's 2/10 up on his best lap so far. DJ Phil's got a track limits lap time invalid. John Boy's just gone quickest with a 1:10.8, so a good lap time from John Boy. 1.5 tenths in front of Gary, but Gary was over 2 tenths quicker at the sector 2 time. Now through the Fogarty S's, runs it out to the curb. What's this lap time going to be from Gary? It looks very mighty in this second and third sector, and he crosses the line, and it's a 1:10.7, so near enough 2 tenths quicker than John Boy then. Work to do for him, but what can the only G do? Expecting magic from this man, and he comes down the Dunlop straight, brakes hard into the Fogarty S's. Through there, look, using all the curb he can, and he slides the car through at the end. He'd have lost some speed there. He currently needs 3.5 tenths to take provisional pole, and gets more than 3.5 tenths and takes pole by 1/10 of a second from Gary then. Where's Andy? Still all the way down in P9 at the moment, so not the qualifying he'd have wanted. Lodder coming up towards Coppice corner, currently in P9 himself. Someone's just gone above to take Andy down into 10th place then. The top three here though separated by 0.3 of a second. Fantastic qualifying so far by these lads. And here comes Andy, Lodder, sorry, in towards the Fogarty S's, gets through them nicely. Now can he get any improvement? Needs 2.2 seconds off the leader and doesn't improve at all. Where's DJ Phil? He's coming down into the Fogarty S's right now. Everybody's got a lap time, and Smoky Devil's gone up into P6. A heck of a strong lap from him. Good time from Smoky Devil here. John Boy's improved again. He's now gone into P2. Slight improvement there for DJ Phil. Spliff Master currently 13th and heading into the Fogarty S's himself. On Orthodubs currently running 44. Spliff Master's just got himself a lap time invalid. That's not what he wants. Here comes Unorthodox, and G's gone even quicker. Andy's gone up into P4, only half a second off the pole time. Unorthodox goes up into P4, only half a second off the pole time. So cracking lap from him. Charlie Goff down in P9 at the minute. Fury currently 7th. Does he improve any? He needs a small amount of time to gain over Smoky Boy, and in fact goes P4 himself, above Unorthodox and Andy respectively then. So a heck of a time coming in by Fury. What can Gary do? Coming down the Dunlop straight, as Xmart just in front of him, currently sat P12. What can Xmart do? Can Xmart improve here? Let's see. He needs a couple of hundredths to go above Lodder. Gets that, goes up to P8. Gary, no improvement for him. So struggling at the minute, Gary. That's Andy all sideways down at the old hairpin. John Boy coming up towards McLean's. John Boy's pitted, in fact. Only G about to start a lap, staying out the way crucially. Well, that's really hurt. This is going to really hurt G. What can Fury do here then? Currently running P4 at the moment. So what can Fury do right this second. G still parked at the exit to the Fog TSs. Is Fury going to improve any? Only needs 2 thousandths to go above Gary and can't get it this time around. What about Unorthodox? He's already done on that. Andy down in P6. Only G goes now, so he's giving himself some time. John Boy still in the pits, 4.5 minutes remain, so there is still time for John Boy to get out and get another lap in. But what can Andy do here? Is he's about to cross the line now. An out lap, so we'll see what he's capable of as he comes to the end of his. Gary and Smoky Devil have just had a lap time invalid, so that's not what Gary wants at all. Avo Alfonso currently P8, a couple of tenths behind Smoky Devil for P7. Needs a whole set, needs just under a second to gain on Andy. The top 6 separated by half a second. Absolutely fantastic between them guys. Avo Alfonso now, is he going to improve any here? It improves by 3 tenths, but he's now 1.1 off the leader. Smoky Devil looks like he's had enough. X-Mark's at turn 1. Emo Guy coming down out the exit to Coppice, down the Dunlop straight towards the Fogger TSs now then. Currently sits P10 does Emo Guy. Just half a second to go up to Avo Alfonso in 7th place he needs here. Is he going to get it? No improvement this time around. Charlie Goff. Spliffmaster, no improvement. Lauder hasn't improved neither. DJ Phil's coming up to the old hairpin. He's down in P14. So what about the leaders? There's Unorthodox coming down the Craney curve. John Boy up into Coppice corner. So we'll watch the end of John Boy's lap. Just 2 tenths on Unorthodox at 2nd place at the minute. Didn't notice that one. He's actually currently sat 2nd place. 400ths of a second off the back of the only G. Andy's just picked up a lap time invalid. So that's not what he wants. Here, with 2 minutes remaining, or 2 minutes 50 remaining in this one. Over the line comes John Boy now. Any improvement this time round? No, can't improve. Gary, we know, had a lap time invalid, so didn't improve. Fury currently sits P5 ahead of Andy. 3 tenths of a second. And no improve. In fact, he's gone into the pits. DJ Phil was about to cross the line then, so let's see DJ Phil across the line here. And improves by half a second, but it keeps him P14 at the moment then. Charlie Goff down in 11th. Spliffmaster improves by a 10th, but again cannot do anything about it. Andy crosses the line. Andy's there. Unorthodox has just crossed the line, and no improvement for Unorthodox. And John Boy is coming up towards McLean corner. Where's Gary? Gary's just coming through Coppice. So what can Gary 131 do then? He's backing off this lap, so he's going for, he could get 2 more good quick runs in here, but he's backing off quickly here at the end of this. So he's clearly going for 2 quick runs, might only get 1 in. That's John Boy gaining on the back of Gary, so with Gary backing out of this, let's see if John Boy is going to gain anything here then. So Gary won't improve this time round. Can John Boy? No improvement for him. So Gary clearly backed off, but as X-Mark just in front, currently running P8. Andy still 6th. Fury running P5 at the minute. A second qualifying sort of specialist is Fury. We've seen him Tuesday night in the Renault Clios take a pole position. Oh, as that was, I think, Smoky Devil around in the background. But Fury has Emo Guy right behind him. So is it Emo Guy's turn for the toe? Lauder in the pits, the only G in the pits, Smoky Devil in the pits. They're not going to get another lap time in here. Fury's going to cross the line now, and there's no improvement. What about Emo Guy? I don't think he improved either, as he stays P10 then. Where is Andy on track? Just coming down the Dunlop straight. So what can Andy do here? Through the Fogger TSs. Down the start line then. Any improvement on his time? No, but he'll get 1 last bite at the cherry. No, he won't, as he span off there then. So no last chance for him. Fury looks like he might have made a mistake as an Emo Guy passed him this lap, so it doesn't look like he's going to improve any. John Boy still sits behind Gary. In fact, have them two had a bit of an altercation. They'll get 1 more lap in, but Gary and John Boy with a lot of damage. Gary's BMW requires no boot apparently. So I don't know what happened there, but not the way them guys would have wanted to run. Charlie Goff just at turn 1, so he's got the chance of an extra lap. Spliffmaster's gone up into P10. DJ Phil, the first of the runners, who is finished and stays P14. So only a handful of guys now are on their final runs. Unorthodox is about to finish his. Gary's pitted, he can't improve, so currently P4 for Gary for the feature race. Unorthodox just needs the smallest of margins to get on pole position. G has it provisionally, he only needs 0.04 of a second, crosses the line, and no improvement for him there. I think everybody bar Charlie Goff has finished a lap, so is Charlie Goff going to improve here then? Just needs 0.3 to go above Spliffmaster into P11. If he can manage to find himself half a second, he could jump as far as high as P8, maybe even P7 here, but he's got to make sure he's got that time on his side. Into the Fogarty S's now. Down the start straight we go. And he does improve, but it's not enough to move him from P12 then. So G in the feature race takes pole from Unorthodox. John Boy 3rd, Gary in 4th, Fury 5th, where Andy sat back in 6th, Alfonso 7th, Xmart 8th, Emo Guy in 9th, Smoky Devil 10th, Spliffmaster 11th, Charlie Goff 12th, Lauder 13th, and DJ Phil 14th. Don't forget, guys, those of you who's watching, please leave this video a massive thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. And like I said earlier, if you want to get in touch with Motive Racing about joining their sessions that they run or their league races that they run, head to motiveracing.com or join their Discord server for more information, guys. Let's try and get the video. 15 people in the 14 people watching at the moment. Let's try and get this video up to 14 likes if possible. There's an extra 1. There's an extra 2, so that's even better. As we await the drivers to ready up. Everybody's readied up now. They've done their final tweaks on the car. We've managed to get the video to 15 likes. Cheers for that, guys. But the revs rise here at Donington Park National. We haven't got G on the grid. John Boy's disconnected. Where has G gone? I'm not quite sure. Gary has got away very poorly here. In fact, we've lost Gary from the session. Gary has gone from the session here in race 2. So is Andy. I'm not quite sure what's happened here, but we've lost quite a few drivers. 14 was in the qualifying session. We're down to 9 runners. And we're having to restart the session, so please just bear with us after this short break. We're having to restart the session then here at Motive. So please just bear with us during this quick break. welcome back then. What we're going to do for you now is we're going to get just a formation lap out of the way to get the grid order. So I will quickly run you through this order. The only G starts on pole with Unorthodox behind him, John Boy P3, Gary in P4 with Fury P5, Andy in P6, AVU Alfonso, Xmart, Ian aka Emo Guy, Smoky Devil, Spliffmaster, Charlie Goff, Lodder and DJ Phil Green. So I'll just wait now for people who's going to make their changes. Let's see what they can do, and hopefully we have no disconnections again while we wait for these people to for everybody to just make the last minute adjustments, make sure the fuel's right, make sure the pit strategies are right, because don't forget it's a mandatory pit stop as from lap 12. We'll then be away on the formation lap to get in order. So we look about ready to go here. Like I say, we will go around for a formation lap for people to line up where they was. So it looks like we are nearly there for the start of the feature race after the short delay. G, Unorthodox, John Boy, Gary, Fury, Andy, Avu Alfonso, Xmart, Emo Guy, Smoky Devil, Spliff Master, Charlie Goff just needs to get ahead of Lodder. There we go. So now we are in order. And G can take us away here then. To the 19 people watching, for those who's been here, you've probably heard me say this a few times now. To the 19 watching, please leave a big thumbs up to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. To the 20 people watching, please leave a big thumbs up to the channel. To the 21 people watching, please leave a big subscribe. Please leave a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Go to motiveracing.com if you fancy taking part, or go to their Discord server as they come out the fog of TSs now. We're underway here at Donington Port National. G has let them go, and someone's dived into the pits already. That's Unorthodox. I'm not sure why. The pit window doesn't open until lap 12, so I hope he's not pitted too early thinking to get it out of the way now. But he's pitted too early. Gary looks all out of shape. They're coming out of turn 1. He's up into second there. Look at this. John Boy and Fury lean on each other. Gary gets all out of shape coming down the crater curves. He's managed to catch it really well here. But I tell you what, Fury and John Boy come together, and Gary all out of shape made that really interesting. Avo Alfonso's up into P5 ahead of Andy then. Andy has Xmart all over the back of him, and look at Gary looking to try and overtake John Boy here. All out of shape down the crater curves as Gary's held it really well. Unorthodox has pitted, but I'm not sure that was the right thing to do, as you cannot pit until lap 12. Fury though, poor run out of Coppi's corner, and John Boy is going to have a look up the inside. In fact, he's got the move done. Can Fury do anything about it here? Already these three 2 seconds off the back of the only G. John Boy then up into second ahead of Fury. Who's that wide? That's Andy on the grass there as he tries to overtake Avo Alfonso. Can't get the move done into Redgate corner. Exmont having to defend heavily from Charlie Goff. Emo Guy, Spliff Master in the back of all this. Emo Guy up the inside of Charlie Goff. They just touch slowly, slightly coming through Redgate corner then, and they still bang wheels as they come into the top of the Craner curves. And look at them, side by side they come through the Craner curves. Emo's Guy's going to have the inside line going into the old hairpin here. And has the move done before the corner, but Charlie Goff looks to get the undercut, and he's tapped Emo Guy round and Spliff Master into the back of Charlie Goff. Nothing came of that. Lauder has got past DJ Phil and Spliff Master. Maybe Charlie Goff due to all of this. No, just Spliff Master and DJ Phil. DJ Phil looking up the inside, Spliff Master then into Redgate, into McLean's corner there, but for Emo Guy, turned around, coming on the exit of the old hairpin. Not the start he'd have wanted. Down in P13 on Orthodubs, don't forget, has pitted. Hopefully he realises he's got to still pit after lap 12. Gary at the meantime though has passed John Boy and Fury and is up into P2. Fury and John Boy and G. No, he's past G. G must have made a mistake somewhere then. Fury needs a race and John Boy up the inside of G. And he looks like he's ran deep, gets a bit sideways there. And G back up the inside, nice and easy. Andy and Avu Alfonso still battling here. Down to the Craner curves they come. Andy has the advantage and can he now gain on John Boy? Sliding that Renault Megane around all over the place. Charlie Goff has a good little gap in front of Lauder. Spliff Master still behind Lauder and Charlie Goff. Then DJ Phil 11th. Smoky Devil on the back of these 12th. Gary must have made a mistake somewhere. He's dropped. He's not only got past G, but he's now 9/10 behind him. So G's made that look easy so far. And Gary looks really in all sorts of bother here as Andy's now in the slipstream then. Fury leads this race but has G hot on his heels, or trying to gain hot on his heels. Gary trying to defend from Andy then. Comes back across onto the racing line. Uses the curbs, gets that BMW, makes a mistake. He loses the rear, he's managed to hang on to that one as well as Gary 131. And Andy's going to overtake him then before Redgate corner. So Andy up into P3 and on the podium. And Gary looks like he's going to send one up the inside. And Andy gives him plenty of room, or just enough room anyway. And Avo Alfonso and John Boy on the back of Gary here looking very interested. This BMW looks a bit slidey in the hands of Gary at the moment in the night time here at Donington National. Gary, is he going to look for a send-it manoeuvre up the inside into the old hairpin? He does, and gets the job done nice and easy there. Plenty of respect given from Andy. John Boy on the back of this, as is Alfonso, just watching this unfold, and a cracking move from Gary, who looks so twitchy again down the Craner curves. But he's back up into P3. Battle for the lead, 0.6 of a second. Currently separates Fury and the only G. But this for the final podium spot at the minute, only on lap 5. And already we've seen dramas. It's a fantastic stuff. We're on actually lap 4 of the racing laps. The first lap was a formation. Gary very wide out to the exit to Coppis and has lost 3 places to Andy, John Boy and Avu Alfonso. So Gary really struggling in that BMW, and here comes Avu up the inside of John Boy, taps the rear a little bit and John Boy gets a slide on exit. And look at the run that Gary's got here. He's really on it, past John Boy, past Avu Alfonso. Now can he gain on Andy in front? G still behind Fury at the minute as we go on to the 5th racing lap of this one. I know it says lap 6, but the first lap was a formation lap to line up in order. Gary through cleanly now, but can he keep the car intact this time round? Avo Alfonso and John Boy side by side, and look at John Boy with a bit of a twitch coming down the Craner curves here then. X-Mart coming under coming under pressure from Charlie Goff down towards the old hairpin, just behind John Boy and Avu Alfonso then. Charlie Goff, good first race from 12th to 3rd, 12th to 2nd actually, and he's on the back. A bit of a flash of the lights here from Charlie Goff. Has to get out of that one then with X-Mart just in front. And is he going to try and get up the inside of Charlie Goff? Another flash of the lights from Charlie. G has got past Fury, And again, Charlie really wanting to flash the lights, and he looks like he's got the good run around the outside of Exmart here as they're side by side coming down towards the Fogarty S's. Charlie Goff looks like he's got the move done, but Exmart's still there on the rear bumper of Charlie Goff, and is he going to outbrake him into the Fogarty S's? Charlie gives him just enough room to fit two Renault Meganes through there, and job done. Good racing from these two. Split Master on the back of them then, with Lauder, Smoky Devil, DJ Phil and Emo Guy then unorthodox. 24 seconds off the lead. Don't forget he has pitted, but we'll have to pit again come lap 12. G though leads at the moment from Fury. Andy second in third place. Gary P fourth at the moment. Avo Alfonso in fifth. John Boy sixth, and has another twitch coming down the bottom of the Craner curves into the old airport. That Megane looks a bit slidey for me. Exmart though at the minute defending off Charlie Goff really well here. Looks good for his money at the minute. And there is Charlie Goff up the inside, who was on board Exmart there and didn't get to see the manoeuvre that Charlie Goff put on him there. But a great move either way. Smoky Devils picked himself up a time penalty, so has DJ Phil. But look at this cracking start to this race. Exmart now under pressure from Spliff Masters. Charlie Goff made a mistake and gave the place back, maybe picked up a slowdown penalty and ended up losing 2 places. But look at him on the rear of Spliff Master then. They're side by side, Charlie and Spliff Master heading down towards Redgate Corner. Has he got enough up the inside to get the move done here? He has indeed. So back in front of Spliff Master and back to put the pressure onto Exmart then. Andy's picked up a time penalty as well as he's trying to gain on the back of Fury. In fact, taps the back of Fury there, and that's halted his progress a little bit. And this man will be very interested to see what unfolds in front of him, and knows that if anything goes wrong, he could be in front. Andy then racing brilliant at the moment. Up into P2, he's past Fury. Didn't quite see where he got past Fury there, but he's got the move done nonetheless. Gary then really closing in under the slipstream here, really wanting to get this job done. You see Andy in front. There's G coming through the Fogarty S's. You see Andy and Fury just in front. Fury always goes well in the second races here at Motive Racing, so let's see what he can do tonight. Always looks in fine form, does Fury. Is Gary having a bit of a sneak peek up the inside, but cannot get the move done there. Avo Alfonso trying to gain on the back of John Boy, but Exmart still has Charlie Goff and Spliff Master up his rear end. And this a cracking battle, Exmart and Charlie Goff near enough side by side coming through the Craner curves there then. Charlie Goff looking up the inside now of Exmart as he's ran a bit wide, and Spliff Master's going to try and follow through. Oh, they're off! They're off! They've had a bit of a spin there. I'm not sure what quite happened. I just turned away for a second to grab a drink, and I'm not quite sure. But Exmart and Charlie Goff had a bit of an off. Emo Guy now running P8 and Spliff Master up into 7th. Fury trying to stay on the back of Gary, as Gary has got through then at the moment. Gary running P3 right now. Fury 4th, goes well in these second races. These guys are gaining on the back of G. Further back though, Spliff Master has Charlie Goff and Emo Guy on the back of him. Not quite sure what happened, but Emo Guy wanting to stick to the back of the Renault Megane of Charlie. In the night time here at Donington Park National. Lap 10 of 39, or lap 9 of 38 should I say. Dan Davis, aka Unorthodox, says that his car is undrivable, currently sitting 32 seconds off the lead. Got on the front row of the grid in qualifying and raced so well in race 1, but just cannot put it together at the minute. Charlie Goff under immense pressure here from Emo Guy. good little battle this is. Charlie Goss had great drivers all night tonight. He's really put the effort in. He's really got stuck in as well and been brilliant. Side by side now, coming down towards Redgate. Spliffmaster just in front, and Charlie Goff up the inside. Emo Guy's got to go around the outside. They touch a little bit there, and Emo Guy forced wide in, has a bit of a twitch and manages to catch the car. And Charlie Goff should keep that place at the moment, but they're near enough side by side coming through the crane and curves. You can't really make out Charlie's car as he's got how much damage. His headlights are broke. But Emo Guy all over the back of him now. What has happened up front? G is down to 4th place, and Gary's got past Andy. Gary leads this race at the moment in the BMW. Has Andy on his tail, Fury not far behind. John Boy now 5th. John Boy 4th. Alvaro Alfonso P5 to G has had a big off somewhere, and he's now currently P6 on track, 11 seconds off of Gary. So I don't know what's happened. He was well in front, but it's dropped well off the pace. This BMW looks very slidey here, and Gary managing to hang on from Fury and Andy at the moment. These three having a cracking battle on track as well. Back towards Spliffmaster, who's gaining on the back of Exmart, Emo Guy and Charlie Goff. Emo Guy's finally got that job done. We have lost Unorthodox from the race, excuse me. And we're up to 18 likes. There's 2 of you that's watching out there. There's 1 of you that's watching out there that hasn't liked the video, so get a thumbs up on this video. If you get this video to as many likes as possible, that'll be absolutely brilliant, because I'm sure you'll be liking what you're seeing at the moment. G's off again. Dropped down to P9 now. Exmart was also off, so Spliffmaster's now running 6th. But G's off again as well. Gary having to hold off Andy and Fury here. Really is starting to put the pressure on Gary, is Andy and Fury. Cannot let off for 1 second. It's not like race 1 where Gary just cruised away with it. He's really got to drive this BMW, and it looks very twitchy. Maybe that's what G's having problems with at the minute. A bit of a twitchy BMW. We've seen Gary come through here a few times and the car be a bit loose on the rear and twitchy all over, but this time round he's fine. So I do believe now that as from lap 13, which is aka race lap 12, you can pit. 20 people watching. Let's get them 2 likes that aren't there. Let's get the 2 people with a big thumbs up to get maximum likes on this video. Fury there just losing a bit of ground. You've seen him all out of shape coming through Redgate corner, but Andy's really going to want to try and catch to the back of Gary 131 and get this move done sooner rather than later, you'd imagine. The Sim Racing Train says this is great racing on the channel. Indeed it is. And you've got great guys out on track like this. Fantastic battles up and down. Spliffmaster then has Emo Guy all over the back of him here, and this the battle for P6. G still down in 9th. He's gaining on the back of this little trio here. You could just kind of make out Charlie Goff's car in the background. No lights on that car due to bad damage, so you could just make out Charlie Goff's car, but nonetheless absolutely fantastic scraps up and down the field in this feature race. What a feature race we have here. Can't see anybody right now. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. It's as if the lights have gone out coming down the Dunlop straight there, but Spliffmaster and Emo Guy had a bit of a bump, and that's how Charlie Goff and the only G to come through. It looks very dark in the background here at Donington. In fact, it's that dark we can barely see what's happening. We can just make out the lights, and that is it. Andy leads the race from Gary, so Gary clearly has been overtaken by Andy. We cannot see nothing coming uphill here. I'm not sure what has happened, but we can't see a thing. It's really dropped dark in these last couple of moments. We've had a power cut at Donington, says Dawn Jones. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Apologies if I'm not. But we've had a power cut here at Donington Park. We can only see the lights of the cars on track. There is no other lighting around here. So for Andy, currently leading, there's the lights back on. You see the track floodlit nicely down the start straight, but not down the Dunlop straight, so I'm not sure what's going off then. Maybe a bit of a glitch in the game. Good old Project Cars to give you a bit of glitch. Emo Guy and Charlie Goff then on the back of each other here, with G just behind them as well. Let's watch the progress of G, see what he can do. Not able to make up much here is G at the minute. A lot of them currently running P13 at the moment. DJ Phil in P12. Smoky Devils running in 11th place. X-Mart up into P10. Spliff Master in 9th. 8th is G. Just ahead of G is Charlie Goff. He's got a good run on Emo Guy here. Has a lovely run on Emo Guy. Unfortunately, we can't see it on that view, so we're going to have to watch from this camera angle. And Goff can't do anything about it. G looks up the inside of Goff, though, and G's got that one done. Great move from G. Can he outbrake Emo Guy into Coppice corner? No, he can't. But job done on Charlie Goff. Emo Guy P6. Avo Alfonso currently running in P5. Bit of a lonely race for Avo Alfonso at the moment. Oh, he's going a bit slow there. Does he have a slowdown penalty? If that's the case, Emo Guy really gaining on the back. John Boy then coming in for his mandatory pit stop. Gary now running P3. He's lost out to Fury as well here. Charlie Goff's also in the pits. I'm not sure what's up with Gary's car, but struggling tonight to these BMWs. Andy leads from Fury, the only G, gaining on the back of Emo Guy here. Just hear G getting on and off the throttle then. Getting off of it just to maintain that gap. He's got the run though out the old hairpin, and he should be up the inside on these next couple of left-handers, but the outside for McLean's corner. He's going to try and go the long way around then, or is he going to try and cut back on Emo Guy? He's got that cut back done lovely, but he hasn't got the straight line speed compared to the McGann to get the job done up the inside there then. And a power cut still at Donington Park. Cannot make out any of these cars. So having to rely on the chase camera tonight. And G looking to send one from a long way back, but that causes him to make a mistake and run off onto the gravel. He's going to lose out to Spliff Master, but has dived into the pits anyway. X-Mart passes G, so should Smoky Devil. Charlie Goff and John Boy have both pitted. When does Andy think it's the right time to come in? He's got 8 seconds to this man, Fury. As you can see, just nothing here at Donington Park. I wonder if it's just kind of glitched out since Unorthodox left the session. I think that may have glitched the game out slightly because we cannot see absolutely anything here. Currently aboard Charlie Goff. Emo Guy gaining on the back of Avu Alfonso then. Let's see what Avu Alfonso can do, or when he pits, chooses to pit. We're on lap 17 or lap... Andy's just started lap 18. Fury's got himself into the pit lane, so Gary should inherit second place, and as Emo Guy looks like he's going to dive into the pit, so Avo Alfonso will continue on his way. Andy out front at the minute, cruising along so far. Where is the only G? What progression can he make? He's behind Charlie Goff again after them two have both pitted. So let's see what progression the only G can make here then. But at the moment, Charlie Goff in front of this man, the only G, quickest in qualifying. Smoky Devil is on the back of Fury. X-Mart's on the back of Spliffmaster. Let's just see this one unfold. Fury's just come out of the pits. Don't forget, Smoky Devil touches the grass and it's across the old hairpin here. And for a minute here I thought we was going to be in for a bit of a bumpy ride, but he's managed to keep that one out of the wall. X-Mart then starting to gain on the back of Spliff Master here. What can he do from this position? As the camera changes again, it's started to, starting to look a bit better down there. So it's starting to look, a bit more normal. down the straight. Maybe the power is back on at Donington Park. They've put 50p in the meter. They've got the power running again here at Donington Park then. So all good to go. John Boy currently down in P8. Gaining on the back of Smoky Devil. This will be for position. Smoky Devil obviously not pitted just yet. This will be for position nonetheless. Andy 13 seconds out in front over Gary. Gary's got a heck of a lead over Avu Alfonso. Spliffmaster within a couple of seconds of Avu. And I want to try and gain on him as best he can before the pit stops, maybe to try and jump him in the pits, or just try an undercut, maybe an overcut. An undercut might work for Spliffmaster, just a couple of seconds behind Avu Alfonso. Maybe the undercut will work then for him here. We'll have to wait and see. But here is John Boy still trying to gain on the back of Smoky Devil. There is Avu Alfonso, and there is Smoky Devil then. So we'll have to see what they can do here. Plenty of people still to pit. G's pitted, Charlie Goff's pitted, I do believe Emo Guy's pitted, John Boy's pitted, and Fury has pitted. That is it at the moment. Gary 13.9 now, 14 seconds off the back of Andy then. In fact, that gap's coming down quite quickly, so I wonder if Andy made a little mistake there, as that gap was coming down quite rapidly. Yeah, then it's now down to 13.3. So I reckon Andy made a slight mistake somewhere. Is Andy going to come into the pits this time around? Very slightly out the Fogarty says no, he's not. The battle between John Boy and Smoky Devils within a second of each other now. So can John Boy get this move done? Wants to get it done, try and make some moves up the grid before Andy and Gary pit. Maybe Smoky Devil. Although surely that Gary and Andy stayed out that long, the overcutters work. G still down in P11, so struggling is G tonight in these conditions here at Donington National. As Gary and Avu Alfonso are in the pits, the Spliffmaster will take third place as it stands. Who's that in the pits as well? That looked like X Mark to me coming in the pits. So Fury's up into P5, and in fact I think Fury has managed to jump Gary then, who's just coming out the pits. And was getting close to the battle between John Boy and Smoky Devil. And Gary's come out just behind the pit. In fact, he's side by side with John Boy and has got the move done on John Boy. So can Gary now undercut Andy? We'll have to wait to see. He's got to turn a good deficit around 13 seconds. He's really got to get his head screwed on. Avu Alfonso and X Mark still in the pits. In fact, Gary's off. He's on the grass. He's sideways. He's round. How has he managed to hold that? I know he's just clipped the wall there, but he's held that brilliantly there. Just got all out of power. These BMWs look all out of shape so far. Absolutely fantastic. X-Mart in the pits from P13 then, or has just left the pits from P13. Currently 2:24 down on the leaders. He's struggling here, 1 minute 6 behind DJ Phil. Andy, when does he pit? 28 seconds to Spliffmaster, currently P2. Fury sits 3. A net second when Spliffmaster pits effectively. Smoky Butt Devil running P4, John Boy into 5th and Gary 6th here. This the battle on track at the minute between John Boy trying to gain on Smoky Devil but also trying to defend from Gary. What a poor run of form these BMWs are having tonight. We're not only seeing G struggle down in P9, 7 seconds off the back of Charlie Goff. We're seeing Gary 131 struggle as well. He's really not able to get the best out of the BMW like we saw him get in race 1. He's really started to struggle. The little trio of battles here on the track. Smoky Devil, John Boy and Gary 131 coming down Coppice and down the Dunlop straight then. Does Smoky Devil choose to pit this time around? Let's wait and see. But so far so good. Gary's going to look up the inside and sends one up the inside of John Boy. John Boy gives him plenty of room, and Gary wide on the exit to the corner. John Boy's going to try and come back at him then down the straight. Smoky Devil has jumped into the pits, and it's now a battle between these two for P4. Side by side they are, and Gary will have the inside line at the Redgate corner. Can John Boy get it tucked underneath and back get the overcut? Or the cut back, should I say. No, he didn't. And Gary in front coming through the crane curves. That BMW for me though looks very slidey, very twitchy. And can Gary keep it there? G's moved up to 8th place, so Charlie Goff up to 7th, and Emo Guy up into 6th place then after Smoky Devil makes his pit stop. And quickest car on track last time round was Fury. Excuse me, was Fury with a 110.9, Andy a 111 dead, so really quick times here. Charlie Goff a 111.9, so good lap time from him. G in the 112 struggling at the minute. But can John Boy gain on the back of Gary 131? On board now. Smoky Devil being shown the blue flag. Look at BMW, just very slidey, and you see there, just as it dips on exit to the Fogarty S's, the BMW just losing the rear slightly, and Gary just having to correct it to keep it going. But I tell you what, he's really struggling here, is Gary. He's all sideways again there. Look, you just cannot get the power down, and this is allowing John Boy to keep with him, although Gary's slowly starting to pull away as they come down the crane of curves. Avo Alfonso down in P11 trying to catch on the back of Lauder. Change of car from Lauder from race 1 to race 2. Was in the BMW, now in the Renault Megane. Not sure, I'm sure that one will be looked at by the stewards after this race as to why he's changed car. But either way, Avo Alfonso trying to gain on the back of him. X-Mart trying to gain on the back of DJ Phil, and X-Mart's car looks battered and bruised here, but he's trying to gain on DJ Phil. Good times from DJ Phil, good consistent times you'll get from him. Gary has been passed by John Boy, so Gary's clearly made a mistake somewhere, and John Boy has got past him. Now then, they come down towards the Fogarty S's again. This is where Gary seems like he's struggling just a little bit to get a BMW back on the power. It's as if he's got to be patient to get the foot down. Let's jump on board, Gary, then. Let's listen to him, see when he has to get the pace down. In fact, let's go inside the cockpit. You see him be able to work the steering wheel. But just having to correct, it's just understeering like mad. Really got to start to get the laps in here and get his head down. Fury's gone, Spliffmaster's still got a pit, but at the minute Spliffmaster's 10 seconds up the road. Quick splash and dash, and he may be out before Gary's even done anything. X-Mart has got past DJ Phil, and Avo Alfonso still trying to gain on the back of Lauder, but Gary really closing in on John Boy. John Boy's got it parked on the inside line, and there's a bit sideways coming through McLean's corner there, but gets it nicely done on exit. Has the inside line here at Coppice, and Gary's going to try and go around the outside. Can he keep it there? He's going to try. Tucks back in behind and use that slipstream down towards the Fogarty S's, or is he still side by side? No, still side by side. John Boy tries to squeeze Gary just a little bit there, but the pull of that BMW is fantastic. Now, can John Boy keep it up the inside? He can, and gets it done well, but runs a little wide, and Gary should get a good exit, but he got a bit slidey out the Fogarty S's as well, and it's not going to give him the best of runs. Spliffmaster in the pits, them two have passed him then, and will gain P4 and 3 respectively as he is in the pits. But Gary having a cracking little battle here, cracking scrap. He's got the cut back on John Boy, and they're going to be side by side then coming through the crane of curves. Has Gary just done enough to get in front? No, he hasn't. John Boy keeps it then, as Gary has a slowdown penalty, I imagine. That's why he's dropped right off the back of John Boy there. And another problem for Gary to just put him a bit further back than what he'd have liked here. Really needs to get his head screwed on and get with it. G hasn't made many inroads on Charlie Goff. Charlie Goff is on the back of Spliffmaster. Since Spliffmaster's come out of the pit, see, Charlie Goff must have had a pit stop to repair some damage, because his headlights have been repaired. So then, what can Charlie Goff do on the back? He's all sideways into the braking zone of McLean's, and he's managed to hold it superbly there. Back to Gary and John Boy. That gap's within a second. You see the little like warning sign next to the names. That means they're within a second of the car in front. Charlie Goff giving Spliffmaster a bit of a lifeline so far. Avo Alfonso has passed Lauder, but Lauder not giving up on this one then for P10. Every point counts towards the end of the season. Lauder really not giving up on that one. Charlie Goff and Spliffmaster P6 and P7 respectively then. There's Lauder. Spliffmaster a bit wide on the curb, manages to get it back on track. You see the back end sort of stepping out over the curb. Then Gary on my little race feed screen has set the fastest first sector out of anybody. So Gary really looks like he's trying to turn it on now, as he's going to hunt down John Boy here for P3. They've got 8 seconds to Fury up the road. Fastest sector 1 then Andy, 26.9, so a tenth quicker than what Gary's was. But that's where Andy is on track. He's already at sector 1, whereas Gary and John Boy just coming through sector 2 then. Now can Gary gain any more? This is for the final podium spot at the moment. We started lap 28, effectively race lap 27 of 38. 11 to go. Gary is really closing in on the back of John Boy now. Really knows what he's got to do. In fact, John Boy's had a bit of a poor first corner, poor Redgate, and Gary's got the move done as they come down towards the crane of curves here then. And let's see if Gary can hold it this time, or is he going to, you know, just get a wiggle on that BMW again and make another mistake to allow John Boy through. We've seen a cracking battle with these two all night. Let's just jump back to Charlie Goff and Spliffmaster. Nothing really happening there. Avo Alfonso has been overtaken by Lauder, and that gap is started to pull out a bit as well. G has been lapped, I do believe. I see blue flags on my screen from G. Yeah, that's Andy coming around. He started lap 29. Andy is flying in this race. Don't forget though, Andy is yet to pit, but has lapped the only G. That's something you don't see much here at Motive Racing, is G get lapped. Well, he has here. Now can John Boy gain on Gary anymore? Charlie Goff, he's not really gaining on Spliffmaster much neither, and he's going to have Andy coming up behind him to lap him soon. This man's been absolute fantastic. I know he's picked up a couple of time penalties here and there, and we'll have to see what he's got at the end of the race. But he's flying at the minute. 40-second gap back to Fury. Really flying in race 2. We've seen this a lot last season, where he has a strong race 2 and really can put a good race 2 together after not necessarily a bad first race, but not the best for him. A few incidents and a few time penalties to put him back to P3. But Andy really knows how to run in the feature race, and he's doing it absolutely brilliant here. He's really cruising. As G behind him. G will not unlap himself, I wouldn't have thought neither. Gary has started to drop John Boy. That gap's up to 1.5 seconds there, while Charlie Goff, the car in front of Andy on track, gaining on Spliffmaster. That gap's 0.7 of a second. Avo Alfonso though is still trying to hunt down and pass Lauder. This for P10. Just getting blue flags on my timing screen for Charlie Goff, so Charlie Goff, you'd imagine, should move out of the way. This has allowed G to gain on the back of Charlie Goff. Charlie Goff hasn't let Andy through yet. That's the blue flags, and is that him pulling out the way now for Andy to get past? He'll tuck back behind Andy as well and use the slipstream, so good thinking there from Charlie Goff. As G looks to try and send one later on the brakes to Charlie, and Charlie has it covered. Absolutely easy. Andy's just picked up a time penalty, so is Smoky Devil. Spliffmaster will be getting blue flags soon. DJ Phil is now as well. That'll be from Gary. That'll be from Fury, sorry. And he's moved out of the way nicely there. Alfonso still behind Lauder. What can Lauder do about him? Not much, because he's got a poor run out of the fog of TS's. And here comes Alfonso up the insert, but round the outside into Redgate corner. Then they've got Smoky Devil just in front. These two have, and I want to gain an extra place here. Lauder's managed to keep it up the inside at Redgate, and Alfonso couldn't get the cut back neither. Spliffmaster getting the blue flag as G's moved up ahead of Charlie Goff. Then missed that one while we're watching this little battle for P10. Charlie Goff there, you can see, just on the back of G, who's got Spliffmaster just in front of him as Andy has lapped him. G just trying to pick up the straps in this race. It's been a poor race for the two BMWs. Gary's had an up and down race. G's had a worse race than Gary, but you have to say it's not been the night the BMWs would have wanted, especially after Gary's first race pace. was miles out in front, pulling away from Charlie and Andy, and no one could touch him. Gary here struggling, although Fury looks like he's had a bit of a problem somewhere, because Gary's gained on him no end. And here's Spliffmaster defending from G. G's too wide, so we'll try and get the undercut, the cut back here. Nope, can't get it done. Not enough room up the inside. Charlie Goff behind is paying close attention. If these two have a mistake, he'll be right in there for a couple positions. G looking to the outside of the old hairpin. Is he going to cut back underneath and try and tuck under? No, he's going to do him around the outside at the exit of the old hairpin. And Charlie Goff gives Spliffmaster a flash of the lights, letting him know that he's here. He's got such a good run coming through the old hairpin as well. And Spliffmaster and him, they just slightly bump, front bumper to rear bumper then. No harm in that, but Spliffmaster may have let G pass him, but not Charlie Goff. He's having to defend from Charlie now, and is Charlie going to try and get Spliffmaster around the outside here? Alvaro Alfonso has done Lodder, and here comes Charlie Goff then down the Dunlop straight. He'll have to go the long way around at the Fogarty S's to get the move done. In fact, he's got the move done on the break, so a good move from Charlie Goff. But can Spliffmaster, and Charlie gets a horrible exit. Can Spliffmaster do anything about this and come back at him? He's going to tuck back underneath and look for the inside at Redgate, is he? He's pulled out now and he's looking up the inside line, but Charlie's got it defended and covered off, and Spliffmaster moves back across to take the racing line and break easier into turn 1. Gary then within a second of Fury, this for P2, so Gary's flying at the minute. Fury looks like he's had a bad off. Oh, looks a bit broken, does that, of Fury's. Gary really getting, in fact I think Fury's got a slowdown penalty, as Gary is flying around the outside of him and has the move done. In fact, yeah, he does. Look at that, great move from Gary. So I think Fury may have had a slowdown penalty there, but that is job done. Charlie Goff has had made a bit of a mistake, as he's dropped off the back of Spliffmaster quite a lot. Lodder has re-overtaken Alvaro Alfonso, so he's got that to do again as well. So good driving here from all these guys. Fury coming back at Gary. Andy has started lap 33 of 39, effectively lap 32 of 38. And Gary a bit sliding coming through Redgate corner exit, and that's allowed Fury up the inside and has got the job done before the Craner curve. So an absolute crackerjack of a move that. Gary just keeps making these little mistakes, and he needs to get it out his head. He needs to shake that off and get this move done. He knows Fury's a quick guy. No time penalty though, so they've got to do this on the track. DJ Phil just behind these two has moved up to P12, as we've lost. Who we lost? We've lost the only G. He's retired from the race, so G will not finish today. Poor showing from only G here then. Either way, that's promoted Charlie Goff, Smoky Devil, Lodder, Spliffmaster, Alvaro Alfonso, Xmot and DJ Phil an extra place here then. But Gary on the back of Fury really needs to get this move done. Andy still has to pit 50 seconds up the road. I think he's managed to get this one done here, if you ask me. I think Andy's managed to win this with a pit stop in hand. Fury's just pulled out a bit of a gap over Gary 131 here. John Boy in the background flashing his lights to DJ Phil to put a lap on him, but Fury's round wide coming out the exit to Redgate, and this will give Gary a good run down the Craner curves. DJ Phil's allowing John Boy past in the background, and Fury has a slowdown, and Gary moves up to P2 then. But watch for John Boy now, as Fury's still taking his slowdown. He's gaining on Fury. Gains. Cannot get it done as they break into the old hairpin though. So a little mistake from Fury. We've seen one from Gary. We've now seen a bit of a mistake from Fury. It's cost Fury more than it cost Gary, and he's dropped back 3 seconds to his competitor and rival on track at the minute. Now Gary's got to get the lap times in. He knows Andy's got to pit at some point. When does Andy pit though? He's doing 1:10.4. Fantastic laps from Andy here. Great laps. He's coming up towards McLean corner. In fact, if anything, he's not far off lapping the lead, as John Boy has managed to get past Fury then. Has Fury made another mistake, as that's DJ Phil, the back marker, who's got past him there. So I wonder if Fury's made another mistake somewhere, as DJ Phil has got past. He's commented in the stream saying, for everyone watching, I was never in this race. Absolutely brilliant. DJ Phil keeps well out the way there, and that's nice to see. The back markers keep that way. Andy comes across to start lap 36, effectively lap 35 of this race. He's still got to pit, so when does he get that done? 53 seconds up the road. Who's he not lapped? Well, he's lapped Emo, guys. The Corey hasn't lapped his Fury. Fury's just coming into the old hairpin. Andy's just coming down the crane of curves. Andy's absolutely flying in this one so far. Gary, though, has now a bit of breathing space back to John Boy, the guy who was battling earlier in this one. Has a bit of breathing space. Can get his head down and get some good lap times in here without having to worry from behind or pressure anybody in front. Knows he really needs to get some good laps in, because if Andy has a poor pit stop, he could be in with a shout. But I think Andy's got that much time over his nearest rivals that Andy could get in and out in front. Them cars, it's just gone. You see they're breaking into the Fogarty S's. That is DJ Phil, John Boy Fury and Gary then. So Gary, John Boy and Fury nearly lapped by Andy. Although when does he dive into the pits? He's not going to do it this time around. Am I sure I've not missed him pit? I'm not sure if I've missed him pit or not, but I don't think I have. John Boy and Fury then for the last podium spot, having a good little scrap here with it. We've seen these two battle with Gary as well all race, not as a trio, but you know, they've battled it out no matter where they've been on track. And it's been a fantastic scrap to watch here at Donington Park. We're in the night time, well into the night now as well. See if John Boy's got it. Has Gary made a mistake? Is John Boy's, it was over 2 seconds behind Gary then. He's now 8/10 off the back of Gary. Fury's made a mistake. That's Fury going very slow there. DJ Phil will unlap himself from Fury. In fact, that's Andy lapping Fury. So a mistake from Fury then as he was pressuring John Boy, and now John Boy's within a second of Gary. And can John Boy keep that pressure on him to make the move and make it stick? Now then, Andy about to cross the line to start lap 38. I'm sure I've not seen him pit. And he's still staying out then. So oh no, he's coming into the pits. Andy is in the pits. So he's left it to the last lap. He's going to absolutely smash this one. Gary, though, has got to pull away from John Boy. He's made another slight mistake. That's allowed John Boy to catch back up. But he can't be having anymore, because John Boy will be right with him, in fact, if not trying to pass him here. Gary 131 will wait for Andy's pit sign to go away from next to his name. He has got time penalties. I don't think it's going to be enough for Gary to catch as they head up towards McLean's end. Andy is out the pits and back on track then, and is 30 seconds up the road from Gary 131. So 31 seconds. I don't think Andy's got a 31-second time penalty. Lauder in the pit. So after his battle with Avu Alfonso, Avu will get past Smoky Devil. Looks like he'll pass him as well as Xmart. I don't think DJ Phil will. We'll wait to see where Lauder is in the pits. He's just coming up now, so no, DJ Phil will not get past. But Andy flying 32 seconds ahead of Gary. Gary's managed to just slowly gap John Boy a little more at the minute. BMW struggled all night. We've seen only G retired from this race. And look at Gary's left, right. A massive twitch on the exit to Redgate. And this is really allowing John Boy to gain on the back of Gary. Now, the BMWs have struggled all night here. We see G struggle and retire from this one. And Gary all over the place at Redgate. Now, although they may not get lapped, he's got to finish the race. And John Boy's in within 6/10 of a second. Emo guy has passed Fury for P4. So Fury's race, he was on the podium at one stage. Just getting a little worse come the end of the night here. Gary and John Boy battling it out though at the moment. For those 15 who's watching, if any of you's there who haven't liked the video, give the video a big thumbs up. They deserve it, the guys do, after this race. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as well as if you're interested in racing and you aren't signed up already, go to motiveracing.com or head to their Discord server and join there. Gary through the Fogarty S's has got a slowdown penalty coming through the Foggy S's. He's got a slowdown. I think it's gone now. You've seen him slow right down there, and John Boy can see that as well as they're on the last lap. What can these two do? It's this man though coming on the exit to Coppice Corner. He's 34 seconds up the road from anybody else. He's been absolutely outstanding in this feature race. Fury's in the pits again and will lose out to Spliffmaster and Charlie Goff, so I'm not sure what's happened to Fury. Maybe he's not fueled, but he may finish P7 already here. as Andy weaves and flash of the lights and wins the feature race, but the battle for P2 is not done yet. 0.7 of a second separate this man Gary 131, who won the sprint race earlier, ahead of John Boy in this feature race. Can Gary make it clean around the foggy S's this time round, or is John Boy going to have enough? Will Gary make a mistake here? He's made silly mistakes all night. The BMW struggled in this second race. He's gone defensive very early. Get it in the foggy S's, get it moved through. He has, but he's slow, and John Boy's wide, so any threat at the end is not going to come. Gary with a big flash of the lights takes a P2. John Boy will flash for P3. Emo Guy's going to get a P4 after problems for Fury at the end of this race. So Emo Guy, top job from him. And he'll absolutely take that one, a flash of the lights. He's listening, he'll take P4. Happy with that one. Spliff Master has Charlie Goff all over the back of him. Charlie flashing like mad. Spliff Master will take 5th. Charlie Goff 6th. And everybody else has had to finish because of that's how far Andy was in front. But Charlie Goff got 5th in the end ahead of Spliff Master. Fury finishes 7th place with Avu Alfonso in P8, X-Mark 9th, Smokey Devil 10th, Lauder 11th and DJ Phil 13th. The only DJ Phil Green 12th. The only G 13th retired, and we lost Unorthodubs early on in this race. But what a cracker we've seen here from the touring cars tonight. Andy on another level in this feature race, and nobody could do anything about it. He lapped half the field. He was so impressive. But from all of us here at Motive Racing, we'll be with you tomorrow night, I do believe, around about 8 PM, I think it is, 8 PM GMT if I'm correct, for the GTEs, again if I'm correct. I'll be back with you guys on the Motive Racing channel Tuesday night for the Clio Cup at 7 o'clock for the Tier 2s and the Tier 1s. But from all of us here at Motive Racing, we thank you for tuning in. Thanks for the likes. Don't forget, head to motiveracing.com, head to our Discord server and subscribe to the channel. But from all of us here, thank you and good night.